Hi, this is Suzanne Travers from Career Game Changers. We're here today with Roger Haggerty, author of Hire Me, A Practical Guide to Standing Out in the Crowded Job Market. He is here today to talk about his book and some of the programs that he offers to people who are in job search mode. So I'm going to turn it over to Roger to first talk about himself and tell us a little bit about his background so you'll have a better idea of what makes Roger such a great person to share this insight with you.
Susan, I started my career with KPMG and became a CPA, and then later got into businesses as a controller and chief financial officer. But along the way, I got involved with an organization that did a lot of coaching of C-level executives, and I became knowledgeable in the process of how to help people with their job search. A few years ago, my wife and I were sitting around, and she had an interview the next day, and the whole process that we went through was to prepare questions that she should ask the company about them. And she was interested in, do I want to work with these people? Will I fit within their organization? Will my skills make me successful? And do they have integrity? So those were the key things that we spoke about for her to ask questions on. Well, she aced the interview, got the job. She came home and said, Roger, I want you to write a book on this. And I looked at her and I said, that's 18 pages, dear. That's not a book. I had my own personal board of directors, and I went to them and said, this is the issue. And within an hour, we had the outline written for the book. And it took me a little while to get it done, but it's done. And I'm quite proud of what I've accomplished in the book. I've had a lot of people call me and say, your book has been a tremendous help for me, and now it's time to spread the word to more people about the book. Today we're going to talk about how job search is a simple process, and that you who are frustrated in job search are probably sitting there saying, it can't be simple, but it really is. Now think about an analogy. When you go out to buy a car, you do your homework. You figure out what model you want, what you can afford, and you do some Consumer Reports research, and then you make your decision. Well, job search is no different. You got to do your homework. And what you have to do your homework on is understanding what the process is. If you understand how the process works, both from a company standpoint, from a recruiter standpoint, from a headhunter standpoint, and from the prospect side, then you'll be successful in how you go about your job search. So you learn the process first. The second thing you have to do is create the wow factor. Now, what's the wow factor? Well, if somebody says to you, wow, that means you've awed them, okay? So what you want to do with your resume is awe people, okay? And you can't do that with a one-size-fits-all resume. You have to have a dynamic resume that fits what you're trying to do, what position you're going after. Now, if you're a high C-level person and you work through a headhunter, a professional search firm, they don't take your resume and give it to the client. They draft a bio on you that fits what the client's needs are. So they take your skills and they turn them around and turn it into a document that the client is looking for. So why don't you take the same approach with your resume? You're going after a posted job, and whatever the posting says, your resume should match that, or you're wasting your time applying for the job. I mean, it's that simple. You have to focus on jobs that you are capable of executing, okay, where you will be a good fit, where your skills will help you. In that process, you really have to take time and do your homework and be prepared about it. Now, I'll give you a live example. I did a search last fall for a CFO, got 100 responses in. 85 of the 100 should not have even bothered applying. 15 left. Okay, so now we're down. You started out with chances of 1 in 100. Now if you're one of the 15, your chances are down to 1 in 15. Now of the 15, 5 were worthy of an interview. And actually, we didn't hire out of that group. We hired somebody that we got in later after the first 100. Now, the other mistake that people make is they'll see a posting and they'll instantly reply to it. That's wrong. Take your time. I mean, think about the other side of the coin, the reader, the person, the HR screener who has to read through all those resumes. And they sit there and say, nope, not qualified, not qualified, not qualified. And they take at best 10 to 20 seconds to look at your resume. Why do you want to have your resume come in with all those other ones who aren't qualified? Wait 3 or 4 days, send it in a focused, targeted, wow factor resume. You do that, you'll be successful in your job search.
After that, what else would you suggest?
Well, there are services you can get. I mean, once you prepare a resume, you really should have a professional look at it. And there are many people out there that are qualified to do that. I think the most qualified are HR executives that have to hire people. I would look at search firms after that to review your resume, but mostly I'd look for professionals who are in the HR field to look at your resume. Now, there are other people out there who are resume writers. I have services that go along with this. One level of services, you'll get my book, Hire Me, A Practical Guide to Standing Out in the Crowded Job Market, and I'll review your resume and make comments on it, and that's one level of service. The second thing I'll do for you, a second level of service, is review your accomplishments. Now, my focus on resumes are all about accomplishments. What have you done that's unusual? You can't be a duties and responsibilities person and stand out from the crowd. You know, anybody can be a truck driver, but if you're the truck driver who has 10 years of accident-free and no inventory shrinkages, that's pretty impressive compared to the regular truck driver. So I'll help you review your accomplishments because accomplishments are what sell. The third level of service is to help you develop your marketing campaign. Now, what's a marketing campaign? Well, a marketing campaign is targeted towards the companies you want to work for that have the positions that you want to fill. That's a really intense program. And then the last level of service that I have is a mock interview. You're getting ready to go talk to X company tomorrow. We'll sit down today and we'll go through what I think you're going to be asked and how I think you should respond to those questions. And keep in mind, I talked about my wife earlier, and that what she was looking for was dependability in the company, integrity in the company, where her skills would fit, and where she would like working for the people, okay, with the people. Those are the four things you have to key in on, and the interview process doesn't get there, okay? The interviewer, the first person you meet, is trying to screen you out. Right? Their job is to make sure they look good to the people they're reporting to. So they only want to send pure winners. And if you're not a pure winner, you're not going to get past the screener. So I'll help you figure out how to get past the screener. Ask them the questions that you want to know so you want to go to the next step. Right? And then I have another service that I offer where you can call me and ask me 5 questions. You can call me 1 at a time, 5 times, doesn't matter. And I'll do my best to give you the guidance to answer those 5 questions. So those are the services that I offer. And now you know a little about me as to why I'm qualified to do all these things too.
And I love the fact that with your services, you offer a la carte, or they can bundle it all together and get the whole package. So
Correct.
You have both. The one thing I would like to add as we wrap up here, Roger, is you touched on the fact the truck driver and the CEO, that really, your book is really for anybody.
Correct.
It could meet anybody's needs. And it really is a guide, a practical guide, just like it says, for standing out in a crowded job market. It is exactly what it says it is. And I think anybody could benefit from reading your book and taking any of your programs that you offer too.
The vast majority of people who have come back to me on the book said, you know, it's one of the easiest reads I've ever had, and it's so common sense, it's just ridiculous. But that's what it's supposed to be, a common sense process too. So good luck with your job searches, and if you need me, you can find me on thehiremeexperience.com.
Thank you for being with us today, Roger. I appreciate it and look forward to your continued success.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.